Renaissance Africa Energy Company has provided insight into the formation, operations and the Pan-African expansion strategies of the group. Well, that acquired about the 2.5 billion US dollar share onshore asset in Nigeria in March this year. In an exclusive interview with the managing director and CEO of the Egypt giant Attah today in Cape Town, South Africa, Arise business correspondent Bosin Omofaye digs for more on the group's investment outlook, plans to list on the stock exchange and more. Let's take a listen now.
And I am happy to speak here at the Africa Energy Forum 2025 edition with the Group Managing Director and CEO of Renaissance Africa Energy. It's good to speak with you, Mr. Anthony Attah. Give me your first word as far as Renaissance is concerned when you talk about the name, the formation. What's the vision behind it and the key objective?
We are Renaissance. As the name connotes, a new beginning, a new era, and perhaps the greatest opportunity for Nigeria and indeed for Africa. Our vision is actually very Africa-centric. We want to be the African leader in energy, enabling energy security and industrialization of Nigeria in a sustainable manner. I mean, that comes together in a total package that you can see why we've come to Cape Town to launch the brand here, having done so in Abuja a couple of months ago. We are representative of Nigeria. We are the platform to bring about that true energy renaissance for Africa.
How do you intend to play the Africa playbook, in a manner of speaking, out of Nigeria as the center of your operations?
No, I typically say we are made in Nigeria, but we are built for Africa. I mean, it goes without saying that Nigeria represents that center stage for energy in Africa. If you look at it today, of the 1.3, 1.2 billion Africans, 50% do not have direct access to electricity. That's over 600 million people, including Nigerians. If you talk about clean energy sources, almost 800, 900 million people do not have access. But look at the resource base of Nigeria. We have over 210,000 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve base. We have almost 38 billion barrels of oil at 2P level. Not to talk about the ones that are yet to be proven. Same for the gas. So with the resource base that Nigeria has, and with the vantage position that Renaissance sits and stands on, we believe that we are ready. But you have to build a foundation on which we have to pivot into Africa, and that is about getting it right in Nigeria first and foremost.
Talk to me briefly about the philosophy behind your recent investments, acquisitions, and all that in Nigeria as your takeoff.
Oh, this is a big deal. I mean, I say to people that when I write a book, it's going to be titled, It's a Big Deal. I mean, it's as big as it can get. Think about it. This was a $2.4 billion deal that we had to go through, a transaction between us and Shell. I don't think there's a bigger deal than that, at least not in Nigeria. I don't know the rest of Africa, but even in Africa, it will come into top five. So this was a deal that lasted almost 3 years. I mean, I led the negotiation of that deal, so I know the intricacies of what went through and some of the difficulties around the regulatory side. But I couldn't be happier that with the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he was so much in a hurry to approve this deal, and you can already begin to see the difference. Think about it today. In the first 100 days, we added 100,000 barrels of oil, and that speaks of 40% improvement. It couldn't be better than that. This could have been 3 years earlier. And if it was 3 years earlier, we would have gone much further than where we are today, and I think we are on track. So as they say, better late than never. Here we are.
Are you looking to see further acquisitions down the line? And where would you play? More in oil, more in gas, in Nigeria, elsewhere on the continent? How soon would that likely take place?
So I like to look at that through the lens of our vision. Don't forget, we want to be the African leader. We want to be that Nigerian representative of around Africa. Yeah, think about African leadership. Think about energy security. Think about industrialization. Then it comes clear to me as Chief Executive of Renaissance. Oil will bring revenue to Nigeria. Export gas will bring revenue to Nigeria, and that is supply to LNG. I mean, I used to run LNG. I ran LNG for 5 years, so I know that. But what will bring industrialization to Nigeria is not just oil, is not export gas, it's domestic gas. So we understand that play, and we're really repositioning the portfolio to achieve the balance to be able to deliver our vision of that sustainability. That's where we are.
That's really key. Now, in delivering your first Shell acquisition, talk to me about the partnerships and collaboration that really brought that to bear, considering Renaissance as a group of companies and professionals, institutions that lead energy frontiers in Nigeria.
Now, this is as good as it gets. Think about it. We've got 5 companies that came together. And this is ND Western, it's First E&P, it's Aradel, which is now publicly quoted as a $1.5 billion company as a shareholder to me. It's Petrolin, it's Walter Smith. These companies have been partners within the construct of ND Western for the last 13 years. So a few people talk about longevity, sustainability. Can partnerships in Nigeria out of Africa sustain and survive? But they have proven, and it's a testament that they can survive, and they have survived together over the last 13 years. But then they've come together for this Renaissance deal, and they form the consortium that represents the board. But that speaks to the governance of Renaissance. So today, I positively can say my shareholders are corporates. So I have corporate organizations as my shareholders, which is a complete departure from what we are perhaps used to in Nigeria, where a lot of the companies are almost linked to an individual. I can call 3-5 companies and say, if I call this company, you give me a name. But if I say Renaissance, then you are looking at 5 corporates. And for me, from a corporate governance point of view, that's as good as it gets. That is the robustness that underpins the vision that we are pursuing. And we have a lot of help from our shareholders, and we get a lot of support to be able to push forward. But I think the stars have lined up this time, because for the first time, I dare say, we have this governance structure, and we have a government that is ready, a government that means business and is creating massive enabling environment for the industry to take off one more time. But take off in Nigeria is not enough for Renaissance. That's why we're Renaissance Africa and pursuing the pivot into Africa very soon.
How soon is the board thinking about listing on an exchange? Local exchange, London Stock Exchange, is that on the horizon?
I would say it's on the cards more than on the horizon. And I don't know what the difference is. But the reality is that we are in transition. And we've defined a very basic transition philosophy to safely receive the company, stabilize it, set it on the path of growth. Then we can start to talk about markets and taking it to market. And I believe that ultimately, as the shareholders' ambition would speak to, we will go to market. We will have to go to market in the end. And that is how you raise finance and sustain the business. Yeah.
I think this is one big market, the Africa Energy Week, bringing big names such as Renaissance together. Renaissance, a major sponsor of this event for this year. What have you seen over the last few days of this event so far?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing to come out to Africa. But it's even more amazing that within 2 days, the rest of Africa is speaking to Renaissance like we were built together. But we spoke proudly to say we are made in Nigeria, built for Africa. But then I think the penny dropped when our chairman, Dr. Lai Fatona, spoke in his panel and said, hold on. Yes, we are Renaissance. But this Renaissance is more than company. This Renaissance is more than country. Perhaps this is the Renaissance that Africa has been waiting for from an energy standpoint. And let the Renaissance begin. We are here to support that base.